America.
Welcome to the Costa Mesa Pettis Perspective. This is Jeff Pettis, episode number 31, and thanks for watching. And as a reminder to please subscribe to the channel if you have not. It helps us track what's happening, who's watching, all that fun stuff. So I took last week or last council meeting off. Had some things going on with the family, so it's good to be back. Feels like it's been a while. So today we're talking about the May 3rd, Tuesday, last night's council meeting at City Hall. There was a good showing. There was a lot going on. There was some budget adjustment talk. There was some grant money hopeful, things like that. And of most importance, came from Jeff Harlan, was that he announced that it is the 50th anniversary of Mi Casa. Congratulations to them. So what I have to say about that is it reminds me of a debate, an ongoing debate I have with a childhood friend of mine. So Mi Casa or El Matador? I think there's no question. It's just a no-brainer. It's a lay down. I do Mi Casa all day long. 2 cheese enchiladas, rice and beans, side of small guacamole. Support local business. So what we're not going to do is talk about anything specific to the meeting last night. Not that there wasn't anything important for all the people that get mad about those things, but I want to talk about something I've gotten a lot of questions on, which was this article that came out April 27th in the it's a Costa Mesa News article. I'm going to go ahead and excuse the notes. I have to make sure I'm reading quotes accurately for those that watch these things. The city is pleased to announce the California Department of Housing and Community Development has awarded the County of Orange approximately $10.7 million to Project Home Key funds to convert one of Costa Mesa's motels into permanent supportive housing for those experiencing homelessness. Now that is a quote directly from the article. And just to start out, I think that it's a good thing. I think we need housing. I think not just for the arena numbers that everybody likes to talk about. We need affordable housing, and most specifically for the homeless people experiencing homelessness. So there's a need for that, and I'm not here to say there's not. What I'm happy about on this particular deal is that it is commercial property being used to convert into low-income homeless housing versus going technically into the R1, R2. So I think this is a good solution, that part of it. But the thing I want to talk about is and I can speak to this because I deal with it often in my work, and there's some other topics in here that I have personal experience with. So when it comes to housing, so there was the latest, those of you that don't know the Point in Time report, it's a big survey that's done. I forget how often it's done, but it's called the Point in Time report. The last one was conducted from San Francisco all the way down to LA. It looks at where we're at with homelessness. They do it at the state level, city level, county level. And this big statewide one was done, I don't have the exact date, but it's the most recent one. The number one reason for homelessness, according to that Point in Time report, was job loss. Now, what they stop short of and what they don't touch on in that is the more important part: what is leading to the what is leading to the joblessness, therefore the homelessness. And the real causes is addictive disorders, alcohol and drugs, and mental health. And on the low end, if you look at all the published statistics on homelessness, the low end, you'll see 50% of everybody homeless is suffering from either an addictive disorder or a mental illness, or both. Realistically, the most people, other data looks at 70 to 80% is probably closer to the number. And what we use in this, I know it's used some in the VA where I work, and it's a philosophy that is used in the community and cities right now called the harm reduction model. Basically, the harm reduction model is not 12-step. It's not that type of recovery from. There's a reason I'm bringing all this up. The harm reduction model talks about using with dignity to keep them alive long enough to help them. And there's no such thing in my experience, and as it's no secret that I myself have been clean and sober for 15 years, and I know what it's like. So there's no such thing as managing your addiction. It just doesn't, in my opinion. Okay, this is my opinion. It just doesn't work, and most other professionals in the industry believe that too. So this comes to, and also when we're looking at, I'm going to get to a point here. So treatment access for homelessness, or for people experiencing homeless, or people that have very little money, it's 8 to 51 days if you're looking for community, something paid for by the community, city, state, county, to have access to mental health or substance abuse services. And the odd thing is, the way you can get quick service is if you're incarcerated. It's about 72 hours. So what we need, the reason I'm bringing all this up is that when you are housing homeless, it is all you're doing and is you're taking a homeless person, putting them with no other requirements on gaining the housing. You're putting them away from their support group, isolated, alone in a box, and that does nothing to encourage sobriety or recovery from mental health disorders. And the only way for this to work and this to be a beneficial thing, other than just building a bunch of units to house homeless that will end up homeless again, is to put a requisite on the actual housing that they need to begin the process of seeking. They need to begin the process of seeking substance abuse and mental health disorders prior to actually becoming qualified for the housing. And what we would need to do that, the state of California needs treatment on demand. And when I say that, I mean we need to be able to have access to these folks. I'm not trying to say it's going to be an easy thing or a cheap thing, but if we want it to be an effective thing, there needs to be teams of case managers out on the streets every single day, all day, not just some NGOs that are here and there, the occasional flyby. We need teams of caseworkers meaning social workers, people with access to services and the ability to act and get these people into treatment. And that is how this type of thing will work. So I am in favor of housing the homeless and people of little means. But when it comes to the homeless population, I'm also interested in keeping them off the street, because the city also, the residents of the city and the citizens of the city have a right, as citizens here, paying rent, owning a home, whatever the case might be. They have a right to have clean, safe streets free from homeless encampments. And I think we can do both. It just requires a lot of work and focus. So my side concern regarding the homeless people right now is that if you look at the Judge Carter case, this is long story short, there was a case out of the Santa Ana River. It was deemed unconstitutional or against the law to make them leave the Santa Ana riverbed unless they had somewhere to place them in a shelter here in the city. And so it was ruled that as soon as we had beds available, meaning the big new site on Airway out there, beautiful facility, doing a great job, then as long as we had beds available, police were then expected and permitted to enforce the anti-camping laws. And so far, that has not happened, as far as I can tell, or anybody else that I've talked to can tell. During the pandemic, that was one of the reasons given. I think at this point, we're well through the pandemic. Let's just be honest, it's over. I know there's still cases out there, but that's no longer an excuse, and we're still not enforcing any camping laws. In fact, from what I can tell, just in my observation around town here, is it's getting worse. So my concern is, what makes us think that a whole new facility is going to improve the problem any longer? So that is my 2 cents on the new facility. Again, I'm a huge fan of the endeavor, but it needs to be coupled with a strong focus on and prerequisite on mental health care and substance abuse if we want this thing to be successful in the long run. You need to be kind to yourself, be good to each other. Together we can get it done. Bye for now.